Star Wars 7x7 episode 1934. Today, a review of Be More Leia, the other Be More book that's come out from DK Publishing, plus a little more Rise of Skywalker news about that trailer. Punch it! Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod and this is Star Wars 7x7. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode where we are going to take a look at Be More Leia, the book also by Christian Blauvelt. Again, Christian, my apologies if I'm getting the pronunciation incorrect. This, along with Be More Lando, has been released by DK Publishing, and again, thank you very much to the folks at DK Publishing for sending me a copy of each of them to review. So, you know, having read Be More Lando, I think I was a little more prepared for what to expect potentially with this one, which says on the back of it, take a stand and make a difference. Are you trapped in a broken system, frustrated by the galaxy's tyrannical Sith leadership, surrounded by clones who can't think for themselves? Then step up and ask yourself, what would Leia do? Make your mark on the world with advice from Leia, Organa, and other rebel leaders. Learn to find your voice, stand your ground, build a resistance, and make real change. So as with the Lando book, it is inspirational in nature, but instead of being, I would say, a little more business and entrepreneurial focused, this one is more personally focused and doesn't necessarily depend on you being an entrepreneur or in a system or anything like that. It's really more about how to live your life. I was initially surprised to see that there was more from Leia in this one than there was from Lando in the other one, but then, of course, it occurred to me, like, mathematically, you know, it makes sense. I mean, Lando didn't have nearly as many lines in the 3 movies that he's appeared in than Leia has had in the 5 movies that she's appeared in. And as with Be More Lando, the quotes come from across the timeline, so it's prequel era, original trilogy era, sequel trilogy era. Even Jyn Erso gets a word in from Rogue One. Padme Amidala, Leia's mom, has a couple of words of advice. So the way these books go is that there's a quote from one of the movies. I'm just pulling one at random where it's Leia saying, somebody has to save our skins, into the garbage chute, flyboy. And it's paired with a I guess an explanation of what that quote could be indicative of. So for example, it's suggest solutions, and this is under the taking the first steps section where Christian Blauvelt says, put your brain to use, not just your blaster. A tough problem might be in front of you. How do you amplify your message, get that hashtag trending, or find your way out of an Imperial prison block? Thinking outside the box, then communicating your problem-solving idea to your team quickly, clearly, and forcefully will motivate them and get results. Keep improvising, though, in case your brilliant idea sends you out of a dungeon and into a Dianoga den. I really enjoyed this and Being More Lando. Just the writing is very clever and ties very well into the stories and, you know, the quotes and the situations from which they're taken. The sections of the book are defining your goals, taking the first steps, forging your own path, building a community, and leading with confidence. It's just really well done. This is the rebel's path to positive change. And so, yeah, you know, it's a great gift. It's a great treat for yourself. I really enjoyed both these books, and so I highly recommend Be More Leia and Be More Lando. Do check them out. All right, let's talk about the Rise of Skywalker trailer after the break. Stay tuned. Hey Rebel Rouser, I've made some changes to the asteroid belt level at patreon.com/SW7x7, and they are all with sponsors in mind. So if you want to get the word out about your business, your product, your service to a dedicated Star Wars audience, then please check out patreon.com/SW7x7 and look for the asteroid belt level for details. Again, that's patreon.com/SW7x7. Welcome back. All right, it's official. The Star Wars Twitter and other accounts, I'm sure, have said that the trailer is going to debut on Monday Night Football on October 21st. And so, yeah, depending on how things go, because it's football, sometimes the clock stops, sometimes it's running, blah, blah, blah. Anywhere around, say, 9:30, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time is when that thing is going to drop. And hey, if you're not a football fan, well, then just keep hitting refresh on the Star Wars YouTube channel, and I'm sure it will come right up. They're probably going to release it at the same time online. I mean, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? In fact, that's the way they've done it before. As for that brief little video on the Star Wars social channels, well, it's just Rey and Chewie in the Millennium Falcon cockpit, and Finn sitting behind Rey, Poe coming into the cockpit, to sit behind Chewie, and that's it. There's nothing more to parse on it except to say that maybe this is at the beginning of what their big adventure together is going to be before they take off and go to Pisana, for example. I think we will probably learn a little bit more about it in the trailer, but for now, that is going to do it for this episode of the show, and the countdown to the trailer is on. Thank you so much for joining me for this show, as always, and may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.
This podcast is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox. It is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other related Star Wars items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright 2019 by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.